Hey guys, welcome to another expansion drill guide. We're going to go over the new boss. I use that in quotations today. It's kind of like a defense, like a tower defense style map. It's very creative and unique, but it's actually pretty straightforward and simple. I say it's even a freebie, but we'll get into that in a second here. Like I said, this is a pretty easy one, but I'll make a guide for it anyway in case anyone's struggling. Uh, Let's go to Frenzy here. Let's talk about this real quick. So this whole map is about defending a boss in the middle, like an allied boss in the middle of the map, which is, like I said, very interesting and creative. But because of that, they're going to spawn like lots of little waves of enemies, and they're going to kind of try and attack and kill the boss as the primary target. So the you want to clear them, and it works really well to do so with AoE. Klukai is the obvious one here. If you have like a Klukai segment 6, this is obviously a freebie. Even like a segment 3 is probably a freebie. I'm going to be using a segment 0 to kind of show you. But it's pretty straightforward. So let's just grab the frenzy levels. The trick with this is because you're going to get swarmed with enemies, this is another one of those weird cases where you probably don't want to take these first couple HP and defense increase, because it's going to slow down. You want to clear them in waves as they spawn. You don't want them to build up on the battlefield, so you kind of want to avoid these. So we're going to actually go to the bottom here. Flying units are immune to slow and gain mobility. This is fine. There's only a couple flying units, and since they go over terrain, it's actually you're going to prioritize them anyway. Mobility is increased when hit with an attack that does not exploit weakness. This one could be a problem, but it's actually not, because they have to spend so much time going around the terrain, and as you'll see in a minute when I show you how to do the map, um, they'll usually die before they even get close to the boss. So, and if you match weakness types, it also this works for both phase weakness like fire, corrosion, etc. But also it works for ammo weakness, so light, medium, heavy. So at the very least, even units that don't have an elemental phase damage, they can exploit light, medium, heavy weakness to get around this too. This one you want to avoid. Enemy units take reduced damage for each other enemy on the field. Since they can spawn about like 8 or 10 at a time, this can be a pretty hefty damage reduction, and it can really, like I said, the goal is to kill them before they start to build up. So you want to avoid this one, because this one can start to get out of hand pretty quick. Same one here. This one is fine. The enemies don't really spend much time attacking you, so this one is not that big a deal. And to be honest, you're going to focus fire most of the scary enemies down anyway. And then for the final one, we want to take enemy phase weakness. There's almost nothing that requires you to stability break it in this, so this is another freebie. So that just leaves you with the last two, and it's kind of a little bit your choice. I would really avoid this one, and I would also avoid some of the HP and defense ones. So I'm going to take attack here, because the enemies don't hit very hard to begin with. And like I said, you're going to focus them all down. So we're just going to take those ones. Now, the idea behind this map, so if you have Xiaomi, like, so this is what I did it with the first time, this team here. It's not even a very good team. It's just kind of like, I just kind of slapped some units together just to test it out. Centrisi makes this fight incredibly easy, because she just out heals all the enemy damage, right? She just ults constantly and spams her healing skills on the boss, the Tuskar beast here. He's never going to die. He has such a huge HP pool, you can like just heal him forever. So freebie with Xiaomi as well. Just take the key positive feedback and put that on her. You can literally put the shield on the boss every single turn, and it will never eat into your confectants. So you can be ulting to shield the entire team, and then you can be using her Snow's Grace ability on the boss every single turn to give him a nice big thick shield. So once again, this is like almost a freebie between those. If you have either of those healers, it's probably gonna just never die. And then same thing, to be honest, you could even use Colfane. If you just spam her ult over and over and over again on the boss, probably pretty golden. But what we're gonna do is, we're not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do it with all DPS units, because if you just kill all the ads, then you don't have to worry about them hitting the boss. I know, real novel idea. So let's just take, let's just throw in we'll just throw in Changju. None of these elements make any sense. They don't match, but I'm just going to kind of show you here. It doesn't really matter. The only thing you want to keep in mind is you want a relatively mobile unit on this side of the map, because we're going to try and knock this pillar down and this pillar down in the first turn or two. And so you're going to have to do a little bit of running on this side of the map. Everybody else can kind of just hang out over here. So we're going to have Diane do the running. Any other relatively fast unit like pretty much any Vanguard, but Vepley does an okay job of it too. Or you could have like Xiaomi if she's got like the classified manuscript weapon that increases her mobility if she moves. So what we're going to do is when you hit this switch here, this and this is going to move up. So that's going to block these ways. We can also knock these pillars down to also block the path a little further. So we're going to knock this pillar down across here. We're going to knock this pillar down across here. And you want to kind of do this on turn 1 or 2. That means, I'm sorry, this over this direction. So that means all the enemies on this side of the map will have to run all the way around to here to get through this gap. Same thing here. Everybody else is going to have to group up and go through this little, they're going to get funneled through here. That's the goal. So we can have, we're going to have Klukai come here. This is kind of a freebie because of Klukai, because you just start throwing AoE around and you will accumulate a lot of AoE kills very quickly. Once you get a group of guys, like this, for example, these aren't going to die, but next turn they will. You can start getting some ridiculous chain reactions off with overpowering corrosion and her ult. Like I said, if you have her segment 3, she'll probably just be ulting and killing everyone like crazy. So let's knock this pillar down this way. So this entire part of the map is like fenced off. And then we'll just have her come over here. I'm going to have him kill, or actually we want to be right here so we can move to the pillar. He's going to get a cover save, unfortunately, but he will die. Thanks, Changju. And we want to push it over this way. So, once again, this whole part of the map now has to funnel through here. So you can do two things. You can body block it, like this. So whoever you put right here where Diane is standing, it will force the melee units or the units trying to get past her to attack her, which is, like I said, it can be kind of dangerous if you don't have a healer. So we're not going to do that, but that is an option if you have like for example, if you have Groza or like another really thick unit. And the rest of the team, the only other enemy you need to worry about on turn 1 is this guy up here, the sniper. You cannot see over these, so you can do one of two things. So these enemies are going to fly over this no matter what. So you don't care if these are up. So turn 1, you can activate this just for better line of sight. But in most cases, you're going to want it in the original pattern there. So we're just going to come here and we're going to have Macchiato kill the sniper guy up here. If you had like like I said, if you don't have Macchiato that can like kill him in one hit, maybe just double up on somebody else. And then, yeah, everyone else is just going to kind of hang out. We're just going to work on these ads as they come to us. And I'm actually going to let him, because Macchiato's on Overwatch, so we'll let that guy come down and die to Macchiato, and we'll just kind of hang out. And so the entire rest of the map, and I might fast forward some of this in the demo here, you're just going to kind of stand, protect the boss here, and AoE everything down. If the boss does take any damage, you have a couple of these healing crates. This is why I'm doing a full DPS team, because A, if you kill the enemies, they can't hurt the boss, and B, there's these healing crates along the side of the map here. So if we grab them, I can pick it up. You can't actually be standing on it. You have to be standing next to it to pick it up. You pick it up, and that heals the boss there, so he gets a nice chunk of HP. So between the two of them, that should be enough to get through the whole fight, because you said you're going to be killing things so quick. In Wave 2 here, you want to prioritize this Scholar here, because he will reduce the vision, or the attack distance of whoever he attacks. So if he attacks like Macchiato in this case, Macchiato's range would get reduced, which you don't want. So prioritize him if you can, and then everything else is just kind of whatever. This is the part where you're going to see, I said, overpowering corrosion starts to get out of hand. You can just like AoE down huge packs of guys at a time. Now, my Klukai is kind of geared. I don't have any segments on her. She's segment 0, but I do have her weapon, and I have some fancy golden attachments, gold calibrated attachments on her, which is why her stats are so high. So even if yours is a little weaker, it's maybe just takes a little extra AoE. Yeah, and then we're just, like I said, at this point, we just continue. You can keep these walls up. It doesn't really matter. The scholars fly over them, and this guy's just going to spawn lots of little dudes. Like, he's going to spawn, like, the little Goliaths, which next turn we're going to have Klukai come over here, and just for the rest of the map, she's probably just going to be throwing grenades in this area to kill them as they spawn, and that will actually AoE down him. But everything else is kind of a do whatever you feel like type deal. So we're just going to move her up so that she has angles on multiple people. And see if she can... There we go. So we're probably going to just fast forward through a lot of this. Don't use the boss's ability on turn 2. So this one here is just attack like a semi-close guy, and this one is attack someone who's in a like cone right here. If someone did manage to slip past the defenses, you can use either one of those, but don't use this volcano ability just yet. Hold on to that, because that's kind of like a once per map thing, because it requires 2 confectance points, and I don't think there's any way for him to regenerate confectance. So it's kind of like a 1 map use, but we're gonna use that next turn. So we'll just have him do nothing. And then Diane, sure. Just find something. Kill. Just build some stacks up. And I won't commentate. I'm just going to fast forward through a lot of this. Quick note here. I'm actually going to lower the wall here just so I can have better vision. If you keep that wall up, the little bomb guys have to go, like I said, really far away, and they'll probably never make it in time. But I actually just want it down so that I can focus this guy here with Macchiato. But it's not really important. If you're a little slow on DPS, just keep that wall up and let them waste their time walking around, and just keep throwing, like I said, AoEs over here and slowly kill them. So, real quick, I'm going to show you this. Like I said, this is why Klukai makes this really easy, because when we kill this guy, it's going to do the overpowering corrosion is going to trigger and like blow up multiple times on all these guys. So, like I said, if he had spawned another set of them, it would be another grenade from Klukai next turn, and this whole area would just get wiped. This turn, on turn 3, is when you want to do active volcano. All these guys that are on the edge of the map are not going to be able, because they have to funnel in through here. They're not going to be able to get out of this in time. So this is the perfect turn to use this. Yeah, he's going to take a little bit of a hit there. Not really much you can do about that. Yep, and see, he just did all the hard work for us. Now you just have somebody leisurely walk over here and kill this Overfallen whenever they feel like it. We're going to probably have not Macchiato. Diane, can you make it? No. Nobody can make it, so he's going to slowly waddle his way over here, and we'll just kill him when he gets in our area. So this turn, we're going to just kind of start repositioning side. And not in range to do this, so we'll just skip his turn. We'll have Diane come over here and probably finish this Overfallen off. He's the only one that actually is going to hit the boss with this like kind of DPS team. So if the boss starts to get a little low, just make sure you grab these health hits. Like I said, if you're running like an actual healer, like when I did this with Centrisi, the boss was almost at full HP at this point. A little unnecessary to Harmony there, but I said, this boss is or this map is relatively comfy. So once again, you want to keep these up if you're scared of them. Well, in this wave, it's mostly snipers, so that won't actually stop them because they'll just like walk over here and shoot them. But I'm just lowering it because I want good vision. Standing here with Kukai is a little risky because they can shoot down on her, and if they come around the wall here, they can get a flanking shot. But to do that, they expose themselves and they'll probably die. And this is the last wave of enemies. So once again, you're going to see here, because this might be because I'm just a little more geared than most people. I just one-shot all those mobs with the overpowering corrosion. But if you didn't, for example, you just have to combo with Vepley or something. And then, yeah, just finish this boss off single target, or this, like, elite. It doesn't really matter. So at this point, the map is pretty much over. If, for some reason, you have, like, a really low DPS team, and you need to, like, stall a little bit, like I said, keep these walls up, they'll have to start walking all the way around and get to, like, maybe over here before they can even attack the boss. So it gives you a little more time and wiggle room. But yeah, main strategy, knock these pillars down, put these walls up on turn 1 and 2, and then have the majority of your team hang out on this half of the arena. That's kind of it, guys. I would normally talk about substitutes for units and whatnot, but to be honest, you can kind of take anything. If you have a healer, it's going to be really comfy. So yeah, but you can just take whatever DPS units you have available. My game crashed there as I was exiting the map, so we're actually going to just talk about it here in the refitting room. Some alternate units you can use. Like I said, if you don't have Macchiato, use a Nemesis. Nemesis's real purpose is to kill that sniper on turn 1 and to kill, like, and to focus damage on the other elite that spawns in the bottom corner of the map on turns 2 and 3. She doesn't have to do one-shotting the enemies, just somebody with good range. And like I said, Nemesis is especially good because when she has insight, she has some of the longest range of any unit in the game. But other than that, like I said, a lot of units don't really matter. I would avoid taking the corrosion team, like corrosion team being Pritia with Michti, just because the enemies are not going to sit in the poison. They'll probably die, and you're not going to be able to spawn tons of different puddles everywhere. And they're a little spread out, so it can get a little spicy. Although Pritia might be able to do a little lifting if you don't have Klukai. It's just that her AoE is very awkward to use because of, like, the pattern of it. But another good AoE unit actually is Vepley. Vepley is actually pretty solid for this because even if she doesn't kill them with a grenade, she puts vulnerability on all the targets. So this will really help the team clean them up. And then, yeah, you can kind of just do whatever. So if I had to team build without a healer, I would try and take 1 or 2 strong AoE units and combo them together to clear out, like, the groups of enemies that spawn far away that have to run the gauntlet. And then maybe 1 or 2 single target damage dealers like Changju and like Macchiato or Nemesis to deal with the snipers and the elites. And then the last spot is kind of a flex. Like I said, someone like Diane's really good because she's very mobile. I would avoid taking units like Krolik here because she's going to get, you don't want to be caught on the wrong side of the terrain and get stuck on a half of the map. So her ult can be kind of a problem to use. Same with Klukai. You'll notice in that video, in the video, I didn't actually use her ult. Getting caught on the wrong side of the map can be a missed turn worth of damage, so it's actually usually not worth it. So, but yeah, other than that, anything works. So thanks for watching, guys. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to go over them. And we might try an even more goofier and different team comp this Friday during my stream, Friday Night Frontline on YouTube here. So tune into that. If you got any questions, I'll try whatever goofy comps that you guys come up with, and we'll get a little creative. So until next time, guys, have a good one.